Hello and welcome back to 2D's Productions. Today we are going to be talking about my hopes for the new Fire Emblem Switch game, whatever it is.
Mr. Miyamoto?
Oh, yes.
Okay, ready whenever you are, gentlemen.
Fire Emblem Switch was announced at the Nintendo Switch press conference event way back in January. We've known about this game for forever, and we have not seen it. Personally, I think it'll be at E3 2018, although it might not be because this game just disappeared. But I'm pretty sure Intelligent is working on it, and I feel pretty confident that we're going to see it. So I thought I would hop on here and let you know what I want from the new game. So the first thing, I am taking inspiration from the mobile game, to be honest, Fire Emblem Heroes. Fire Emblem Heroes did this new expansion where they added in characters from mythology. It's kind of like a Fire Kingdom versus an Ice Kingdom. I haven't played through most of it, but the trailer was enough for me. And they added in Surtur and Loki and characters from Norse mythology, and they gave them their own Fire Emblem twists, obviously, but I thought it was super cool that they were adding in things from mythology. In fact, I kind of want Surtur to be the main antagonist of the new game. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it's possible, but I would love to see Surtur be the main villain. But even if they don't do that, I would like to see them pull from other mythologies. I think it'd be cool if like maybe Hades or something like that was a main character in Fire Emblem, the main antagonist in this storyline. We could see characters like Hercules, and I already could see like Hermes being an archer and all this other stuff, and it'd be a lot of fun to mix in mythology. Now, I don't necessarily think that's going to happen, but I think it would be cool. I don't want them to go full Fire Emblem Fates here, though. I don't want it to be like everything's based on Greek mythology and all the units change. I just want characters based off of that kind of stuff. So, like they did with Surtur, he's very much still a Fire Emblem character. He still goes for that, you know, European, medieval aspects and look and everything. I want that. I don't want them to go full into, I don't want it to be Fire Emblem Odyssey or anything like that. Anything crazy like that. Just, you know, maybe throw in Oedipus Rex or Odysseus and that kind of stuff in there. Make them look like Fire Emblem characters, and it'd be fun. I want the Fire Emblem to play a larger role in this story. I think, now, I should be clear that I've only played Fire Emblem Awakening, Fire Emblem Fates, and Fire Emblem Echoes. I'm a very new fan of this franchise. And in those three games, the Fire Emblem really isn't that important. I know that, like, it's Corrin's sword in Fire Emblem Fates, and it's Chrome's shield, of all things, in Fire Emblem Awakening. They weren't important. I mean, the orbs, collecting the orbs for the Fire Emblem was a little bit of a plot point in Fire Emblem Awakening, but nothing too substantial, and I want the Fire Emblem to play more of a role. I also don't want the Lord to be a sword user anymore. I think it's getting kind of old. So I think that they should maybe make them like a magician or a spellcaster or something like that, you know, whatever kind of magic they want to put into that. Like, kind of like Robin, but drop the sword stuff, or same thing with Celica in Echoes, that kind of a character. And maybe they are the Fire Emblem, or they have an item that is the Fire Emblem, makes them important and amplifies their magic or whatever. I think it'd be cooler to do that. Or again, they could just be a very powerful magician, and that's why they are the Fire Emblem. The kind of magic they use is the magic of the Fire Emblem. Just something to give it more importance in the story. Piggybacking off of that, I also want them to do a deeper story. Now, I don't think the story for the past three Fire Emblem games were bad. I think they were actually pretty good. But I think it's time to delve a little deeper. You know, Switch is a little bit more powerful, can handle a little bit more, and we're in an era of gaming where storylines and stuff are becoming more and more important. Look at a game like God of War 4. You know, I didn't think the God of War franchise was going to be where I was going to get a whole lot of story from this hack and slash adventure game, but it has it, and I think that's what could take Fire Emblem to a whole new level of gameplay. It's always had story, it's always been a pretty important part of the series in my opinion, but I think giving it a deeper, more grown up, more fleshed out storyline would be even better for the game. Obviously, something that is a big part of Fire Emblem now, at least in Awakening and Fates, is waifu emblem. You know, it's the pairing, it's the relationships. That's a big part of the game. And something that Fire Emblem Fates did was introduce same-sex couples. So you had Niles and not Tharja, whatever her name is, that could be same-sex couples for the protagonist only. And they were version exclusive even. And that was a step in the right direction in my opinion, but I want them to delve full ways into that. You know, we have homosexual characters in Fire Emblem. It's a thing that exists. There was his name's it's not Python, it's the other archer in Echoes, I don't remember his name, that had a thing for Valbar. And it's always been kind of like more of a hinted at thing. Nintendo, I understand Nintendo might not want to dip their toes into that pool yet because it's controversial or whatever, but I think giving us some more options, I don't think the whole cast needs to be available or anything like that, but just a couple more options in game I think would be nice. And I think, you know, inclusion, it's 2018, I think it's okay to have a couple gay characters in Fire Emblem. Speaking of those type of characters, we're talking about not Tharja. I don't want reused character arts. I did not like that in Fates. I thought it was very weird. You know, I looked at a couple characters and I'm like, that's Gaius. That's not, no, that's literally Gaius. And it took me out of the gameplay experience, especially when characters like the Rickon, the little magic kid, the clone character that was in the main storyline of the Hoshido version, that was bad. Did not like that. Get rid of those. Don't do that again. I also kind of wanted to get rid of children units, and it's not because I dislike children units. It's just like they don't have a good story purpose to be in games anymore. It made sense in Awakening. I thought it was cool in Awakening, and then they just felt like really hammered into Fates because, well, Awakening did it, so we're gonna do it again. I'm okay if they come back and they have a good story purpose to that, like a time skip or something. But I don't just want children units to be available for no reason. And if they are, at least do some time traveling thing with that again or something. I don't like the idea of like, oh, they were in the realm thing and time passes different. That was dumb. Did not enjoy that. Wasn't a fan. I also want them to go back to the Awakening advancement system. I think, even though I really, really liked the Echoes version, the way they did it in Awakening allowed for more replayability. Because you could play through a game with Sumiya as a knight, you could play through the game with Sumiya as a tank, you could play as Sumiya as a Falcon Knight, or Falchion Knight, whatever, however they want to pronounce that. But they were all different kinds of units that you could make them into, or classes you could make them into. And I think that added replayability. I've played through Fire Emblem Awakening more times than I can count, over hundreds of hours into that game. And I really never went back to play Fates or Echoes because it's just like, well, units are going to be pretty similar if I just go through it again. So, I want that kind of a system where you can have the same cast of characters in different versions of the story when you play through it, and they are completely different than the original. I also really liked Fates' weapon triangle, but I think the issue that I had with it is that magic was a part of the weapons triangle. I want them to switch out magic for something else. It's like bows and like hidden items like the shurikens and that kind of stuff and throwing knives. So I guess add something else into that and take out magic and give magic its own weapons triangle again. I think it's just a better use of it. It adds more to the game than having stuff that just doesn't. I don't know. I didn't like it in the Fire Emblem Fates way. Just give its own weapons triangle and throw in another like gray item into there. I think the Fates style pair up is a good thing to bring back. I don't want it to go back to how it was in Awakening. I think it was way overpowered in Awakening. So I think keep that in as Fates. I like the pair up system personally because it just lets me use more characters and stuff like that. I think it's just a fun way to do it. You could even have it be almost like in Fire Emblem Heroes, where you pair up a character beforehand, and they are just one unit for the thing. So it's like just an easier way to bring in other characters. I don't want this to be Pokemon again. I don't want two versions. That was a bad idea. I get what you guys are going for. I think that Fates was trying to be way too ambitious, and I get why, but rein it back. One version. I don't want to be paying over $100 to get both versions of Fire Emblem Switch. I already have to do it with Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, and I'm getting a little tired of that already, so don't bring that into Fire Emblem, please. Just keep that separate. Casual mode, keep that in the game, please, for me, because else I can't play permadeath. I know, I get it, Fire Emblem fans, I know I'm a horrible fan, and I'm fake, and I'm all this, and this whole video just became useless because I said that, but I don't like permadeath. I'm not a fan of it. I like casual playthrough of the game, and I get that you guys don't like that sometimes, but you know, keep in the regular one. You know, put in a harder difficulty for people who are experienced players who've been playing this all the time. I'm going to stick to playing it easy, casual, and no permadeath. But I'm not saying get rid of permadeath in its entirety. That's not what I'm trying to say here. You know, please don't kill me. This is also something just purely for me and something I enjoy. I like when you see characters from previous games return. I really also like when they're like older. So like Toph in Avatar, Legend of Korra. That was a perfect example of it. I want that in this new Fire Emblem. I don't care who it is. Like it could be Lin. It could be I don't know, Roy. It could be Hector. It could be Ike. It could be Chrom. It could be Lucina. I don't care who it is, but I would like to see one character in this game be someone from a previous Fire Emblem game who is now older, maybe even like an old lady or an old man, and they are a playable unit in the game. I think that'd be fun. I love it when they do stuff like that. Maybe we even get to go back to like Valentia or Valm, I think it's called now in the newer Awakening, or Plagia or whatever, and see some of the old places that we were been in past Fire Emblem games. I don't think that's a necessity. Even if we don't visit old continents, I would like to see an older version of one of our characters that we have had in a previous game. I think it'd be fun. So guys, that's my little wish list for Fire Emblem Switch. Hopefully it gets announced at E3. We're only a couple days away. We're like 2 or 3 days away now. So it's pretty crazy. I can't wait. What do you guys want to see from Fire Emblem Switch? Are you going to be mad at me because I like playing casually? It's okay if you are. I get it. I understand. I'm a newbie. I'm a noob in this franchise, and you had it before I did. So I respect that. Anyways, guys, see you guys next time. Remember to like, comment, favorite, subscribe, do all that stuff. Please don't yell at me too much because of the permadeath. Bye-bye.